After getting off the stand, Jane went and hugged both the prosecutor and Diddy's attorney. So let's break down everything that happened in the rest of her cross-examination, the redirect, and the recross. I'm an attorney and I read what happened, so you don't have to. After lunch, cross-examination continued, with Jane being questioned about the altercation that allegedly took place in June 2024. She said that after Combs punched her in the face, she grabbed his phone and called a woman that he had allegedly gone on a trip with recently. The woman told her, "You're worried about the wrong things right now." And when Jane allegedly shouted, "He's beating my right now," Combs ended the call. Jane testified that Combs then FaceTimed one of his assistants to tell Jane that this woman wasn't on the trip, and then he asked Jane to go put on an outfit that he liked. Jane testified that Combs then used her phone to text Antoine, an entertainer, to come over. Once Antoine arrived, Combs allegedly pulled her over and asked her about a mutual friend that was referenced between her and Antoine in text messages. That triggered Jane to reveal the January Vegas trip, which enraged Combs and led him to yell, "How could you go to another man's freak-off?" Jane testified that Combs then pressured her to take a substance and asked her, "Is this coercion?" Despite the violence, Jane testified that she saw Combs just a few days later, and it felt like he was proposing to break up. The conversation lasted 9 hours. They did substances and slept together, but it was just the two of them. However, things shifted for a little when she saw Combs with another woman in Wyoming around July 4th. She blocked him, but then unblocked him when she saw that his mother was sick. In text messages from that summer, Jane can be seen telling Combs, "Please stop acting like I didn't just shelf myself to be only your girl. And my dumb thought that if I just effed more and I did more hotels, I'd finally get a trip." Later that July, they traveled to Miami together. She testified that that trip was mostly good, until she told Combs that she was tired. She testified that he splashed water on her, called her a bitch, and later apologized. When asked why she first shared that incident just a few days before taking the stand, Jane testified that it was a new memory. Jane testified that on the Miami trip, she missed Paul, one of the entertainers, and that she called him while she was on substances. Paul then flew out, and Jane confirmed that she slept with him at Combs' house just a few days later. The defense attorney asked whether this was consensual and positive, and Jane responded yes. Then came redirect, where prosecutors questioned Jane again. They showed text messages from 2022, where Jane told Combs, "I know what you want, baby, but not really in the mood for that part. I don't want to make you mad." Jane testified that she sent that message because usually the response that she would get from him when she declined is that he was mad. Prosecutors then showed a text message that Combs had sent Paul, the entertainer, saying, "I'm gonna need you to persuade her." Jane testified that she didn't know about the message at the time of the incident. After a March 2023 trip, Jane told Paul that Combs didn't make her feel like a human being and that she felt overwhelmed to perform. "I'm not a robot, just hungry, tired, sleepy, sore," she said. They showed more messages from right before the sobriety party in October 2023, where Jane said things like, "I'm not an animal. I need a break." Prosecutors then asked Jane about her injuries from June 18th. Jane demonstrated how Combs allegedly put her in a chokehold, using his arms, not his fingers. And when asked why she was testifying, Jane said, "Because I was subpoenaed, so I'm here." On recross, the defense attorney emphasized that Jane never told Antoine, the entertainer, not to come in, and that she could have left. Jane was also questioned about the gift that she gave Combs, a portable TV stand that he could use to watch their hotel nights. "I bought the TV for him so it could be an option instead of me sleeping with other men," she explained. Recross ended with the defense attorney grilling Jane about her finances. Jane confirmed that she gets $5,000 in child support, makes roughly $10,000 on OF, and received about $150,000 from Combs. When asked if she wanted more money, Jane replied, "Do you think I'm worth more than that?" and eventually answered no. Jane is officially off the stand, and court has been adjourned for the day, and a new witness takes the stand tomorrow. So make sure to come back then and let me know if you have any comments or questions down below.